Welcome to Pamigurumi. Pamigurumi. My name is Pam. This channel is going to be about all things crochet. Welcome to my very first video. And I've been crocheting for about 20 years. Learned it in Girl Scouts. I remember making a granny square in Girl Scouts, but it didn't stick at that time. So anyway, 20 years. I've been enjoying crochet a lot. And as I mentioned, amigurumi is one of my favorite things to do now. And so I'll be sharing tips and tricks and pattern reviews, book reviews, vlogs, all of those kind of things. I want to give a shout out to Frizzy Bee, who is somebody I discovered recently on YouTube. And I follow a lot of crocheters on YouTube, but Frizzy Bee inspired me to come on. I have expertise to share and time to share, and she has built a really wonderful yarn community. And excuse, my puppy dog is crying in the background because I won't let her get near my crochet that I'm going to show you here. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Sorry, ignore Josey in the background. She's a red and white Australian Shepherd, which I can't show you right now, but she'll eventually be on the channel when I can trust her, if ever. Anyway, so thanks to Frizzy Bee for inspiring me to go ahead and jump on and share crochet. What better could it be than to share crochet with other crocheters who are passionate about it as well? But if you don't follow Frizzy Bee, you need to get on her channel and subscribe to her. She's wonderful. Very sweet and enthusiastic, and she's just lovely. You'll see. Go on. So what I'm going to do today is a pattern review. So recently, a friend of mine, her youngest daughter is about to have her first baby. And so the nursery is going to be decorated in Looney Tunes Babies. And of course, I grew up with Looney Tunes, the regulars, and I had seen pictures of the babies, but I hadn't really seen a cartoon with the babies. But she was getting ready for the baby shower, and I was like, oh, it'd be fun if I could find a pattern to crochet some baby Looney Tunes for the shower and for her nursery. So I got on Etsy, which is kind of scary recently because so much AI is creeping in there. I did get had once by, it was a package of patterns and they were AI and they were not crochetable. It was terrible. So I'm much more cautious, and I am pretty quick to click that purchase button when I see something I like. I'm not a big researcher, but I did take the time this time, since I got had, to look at the pattern reviews, and I did find Looney Tune Babies, and it had 355 reviews for a total of 4.8. So I thought, yes, this is trustworthy. I like that. So the pattern is called Looney Tunes Amigurumi Patterns, and it has 8 characters. I have 6 to show you today. 2 of the characters already went, they were at the shower and are already in their forever home, ready to meet their baby. This pattern, the shop is called Foxy Docs Designs on Etsy, Foxidox Designs, all one word. And the designer, and I'm looking at some notes over here, is Elizabeth Christina from the Netherlands. So they were really fun patterns to make. They're not going to be for everybody because there's a lot of sewing. Now, I'm a little odd. I find sewing very satisfying, but I sewed and quilted and all of that sort of stuff. I was very crafty and liked sewing projects from the time I was very little. So I don't know, sewing isn't a big deal for me, but I know for a lot of new crocheters, that's very daunting. And the younger crowd seems to like the no-sew ones made with the blanket yarn, which is not really my thing. I tried it once. I'll have to go through that one time with you and show you my attempt. But anyway, so I got this pattern. So I did notice just some translation issues. The pattern itself was very easy to read. I had no trouble making the characters. And but I did notice that it was translated. Like English wasn't the first language. There were a couple of funny things. Some in some just lingo, American versus European kind of things, and some in the translation. So this pattern called for 3 or 4 weight yarn. And one of the examples, as I was going through, one of the pieces called for a separation chain. Now, in my brain, separate, I was thinking you were going to start off with one piece and make other pieces and go to like divide it like you would a heart or whatever. But it didn't make sense, and so I was looking at this and looking at this, and they meant turning chain. I was like, oh, okay. Finally, I got that. That was just, I had never heard it called a separation chain, and that sent my brain in a different direction. I had to get my brain back on. But that's the only problems I had with pattern. That wasn't really a problem, just a quirk, which I laughed at. And then some of the other lingo I'll tell you about when we get to the characters. So I'm terrible. Is anybody else terrible at looking at the height that they're saying the character should be? I don't know. For some reason, I don't normally do that. But since they were going to be at the shower and she wanted to use them as part of the decoration, the Sylvester and Tweety is what I made first. And so I was trying to find the height, and it was on there, and I saw 11, and I was like, oh, okay, 4-weight yarn, 11. It's going to be, a good sized character. Well, I start crocheting, and I started with Tweety. I don't have Tweety with me, but we'll start with Daffy. Look at Daffy. Isn't he adorable? I think he turned out so cute. And so, anyway, when I started crocheting, if you could see the body and the head. So that's it. And so, it has none of these other pieces on it. It's just like a little bulb and 2 bulbs, big bulb and a smaller bulb. And it wasn't very big. And I thought, oh, this is AI for sure, because I'm very gun shy on the AI patterns. But I looked at it again, and of course it said 11 centimeters, not 11 inches. My Americanized brain was thinking, excuse me, in inches. So they range in size. There's 3 separate sizes. Some are 11 centimeters or 4.3 inches, and mine's bigger than that. Mine's probably 5 inches, 6 inches. Anyway, he's bigger. And their center one, the middle one is 14 centimeters or 5.5 inches, and the biggest one is 20 centimeters or 7.8 inches. So once I got a handle on my brain on what the size was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going and see what happens. So they're all constructed with head and body together, and then you make all the parts, and it's got a lot of these parts that you don't stuff, so they go flat to be sewn on. So they do start with magic rings, but they just make these like they're very 3D-ish because they are too it's you make a sandwich, it's one big piece. So, and then you sew the arms and the legs, and the mouths have multiple parts. Like you do the face, which is just flat, and had the beak top, the beak bottom. There's a red little mouth inside, which you can't see very well, but it's in there. And then they'll have tongues and or other things. So the birds, the Tweety and the Daffy, are have the least amount of pieces. Tweety even less than Daffy. Daffy has a little more on his face. So if you do not enjoy sewing, you will not enjoy this project. She does rate them, by the way, as intermediate, and I would agree with that. They are all intermediate. She does give estimates on time. I tend to be a fast crocheter, but I have an inflammatory arthritis, so I have had to learn to slow down, take breaks, stop for the day way before I think I want to. So I haven't timed myself. But I definitely know 1.5 hours is what she says for the shortest character, and I know it took me longer than that, up to 5. Josey, be quiet, baby. Hold on. She's kind of like a toddler when you get on the phone. You know, she wants all the attention. So anyway, so there is Daffy. I think he turned out very cute. And they all have little tails, so you can, when you're sewing together, you can make a little tripod. He sits the easiest. Anyway, he sits very nicely. And I know you can't see that, but they do all sit. Okay, so next, let's go to the main character. What's up, Doc? We've got our Bugs Bunny, and he is very, very cute. Now, honestly, the picture of him wasn't my favorite. I actually made him and his girlfriend last because I don't know, I wasn't looking as forward to making it, but he turned out cute. He's got his little tooth and his carrot. He's got paw pads on his little feet, his little tail. So again, you tripod where he will sit up, and they all, almost all of them, I think, all of them, almost all of them have these little hairs. That's part of the baby, and their tongues are sticking out. That's part of the baby characters are all there. So there's Bugs Bunny. Now, I remember a sexy blonde bunny from the main cartoon, the main Looney Tunes, but I didn't know she had a name. This is Baby Lola Bunny, so I guess her name is Lola. Now, this was another funny with the terminology. When I got to this piece, they called the fringe. And I was like, what do you mean the fringe? Of course, I'm thinking crochet, I'm thinking fringe like on a blanket. But no. They were talking about her bangs, as we call it in the US. And apparently it's mostly called fringe in more European way. So anyway, this is Lola, and her hair is kind of odd, but that is how the cartoon looks. And she turned out cuter than I think the picture was. Anyway, I think Lola Bunny turned out fine. So we've got a little girlfriend for Bugs. Oh, Josey, give me a few more minutes. Then we'll move on to the Tasmanian Devil, and I love this one. Let me see if I can throw her a treat. So, Josey is very, very naughty with my crochet. She sees it as competition because she likes everybody's undivided attention. Let's see if I can throw her a treat. And so I've had to had safeguards for how I'm going to crochet. I've had to like put my yarn skeins in plastic boxes with holes so it'll come out, because while I'm crocheting, she will grab the ball of yarn and run, get zoomies, and go crazy with me attached to the yarn and it unraveling all over my house. Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. So I'm usually screaming at her, trying to get up out of my chair, and which I can't do quickly, screaming for my husband if he's here to come help because she's stolen my yarn. And then it's even worse with the characters. She does love stuffed animals anyway, so this is she doesn't understand that these are not for her to play with. She is a toy destroyer. We have to buy her the ones that don't have stuffing and that will last long for a big chewer. So she would make mincemeat out of my animals, and she does get them. She got this was the story I was going to tell you. She got Daffy in her mouth. I turned away for a minute to do something, and she is so stealthful. She is watching. She knows he's there, and she's waiting for the opportune second to come and steal him. So she got him in her mouth, and we have a crate in the bedroom. The only time she goes in the crate is when we leave the house. She has a lot of guard instinct in her, so I don't want her to be anxious about guarding the whole house while we're gone. So she likes her crate, and she goes to sleep. And I have a camera on her, so I have witness. She just rests the whole time that we're out of the house. But anyway, so the crate's in there, and she grabbed Daffy. Now, normally she will trade for a treat. We call her a trader on the sock exchange because socks is another thing she likes to steal. And the only way you can get it back. We tried teaching her. She's very smart. She does a lot of tricks and things, but we cannot convince her to leave it. We've never sold her on that command, but she will trade for a treat. So I had a treat that I was trying to trade Daffy for, and she growled at me. I had my hand on Daffy, and she growled. She's never done that before. She didn't do anything other than grrr. And anyway, when I finally got her to let go of Daffy, she loaded herself up in her crate. She was punishing herself. I've never put her in there for being naughty, but she loaded herself up in the crate, which she never does because she had growled at mommy. I thought that was so funny. Okay, Tasmanian Devil. He's one of my favorites. I think he turned out really cute. He's got these big beefy arms, and Tasmanian Devil Taz was always one of my favorite characters anyway, so I think he turned out super cute. Then, okay, my two favorites, not that I'm picking favorites. How cute is the Road Runner? Let's see if I can get him all in frame. Is he not the cutest? Beep, beep. So in the pattern, she had it done in like a royal blue on the top and the wings and this light blue. But when you look up, I remembered him being purple, the real Roadrunner, and I did do a search on the babies, and they show both. They do show dark blue and light blue, or purple and light blue. So I'm a purple kind of girl, so I picked purple, and I think he turned out really cute. Now he is the only one where his head, he's top heavy. His neck was a little longer. I should have used a felt roll. So if this is something you are going to think about making, I would do a felt roll in this one because this is very heavy. His top knot there weighs his little head down. He can sit up. You have to work with him a little bit, and he prefers to lean on the coyote, which probably he shouldn't because of acne explosions, all that. And the last one I have here to show you is Wiley. He also turned out the coyote. I think he's so cute. He's got, anyway, she did a really good job at trying to, they're very detailed, and that's what you can get with a lot of sewing is get the detail. But she got the characters down really well. I enjoyed making them, and they are very fun to look at. So overall, I would give I gave her a 5, and I sent my picture in for a review because I thought they were, like I said, they're fun to make, and the characters turned out really cute. So now I will deliver them to their forever home. Anybody else really sad when they go away when you really like them? I really like all these. I don't know if I'll make myself a whole set. But anyway, I wouldn't hesitate to make them again, but I don't know if I would make them just for myself. What else was I going to say? Oh, I was going to talk about, so tell me if anybody else is like this. I try to get their face done as soon as I can. For some reason, when I'm working on them, I like them to have a face. So I'm somebody who builds as I go, face first. And if the pattern's not written that way, I try to get the face on as soon as I can, even if leaving the limbs for later or whatever, if they're not crocheted in. Anybody else like that? Want them to have their little face so they can communicate with you? Okay, so that is my pattern review, and if you are interested in taking a look at her shop, she does have a lot of cute stuff in her shop, as well as this pattern. But like I said, 8 characters for $5.23 is very, very reasonable. I would have paid more because I thought she did such a good job. And I'll leave that link in the description box. More coming soon, so I would really appreciate it if you'd encourage me by giving me a thumbs up, give me a subscription, give me another chance to wow you and invite you in just to spend some time with me talking about crochet. I love it, and thank you for joining me. Hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye.